Let's start with the obvious downside, the losers of Minicamp. And sadly, the biggest name on that list is Shamar Stewart. Now look, when a rookie walks away from Minicamp before it ends, eyebrows go up. But when it's a first-round pick, that's red alert territory. Sources say Stewart skipped the final day to avoid being a distraction. But let's be real here. Walking out is the distraction. You haven't even played a snap yet, and you're already creating headlines for the wrong reasons. At the center of it all, a contract dispute. The Bengals are reportedly trying to insert new language that protects the team if Stewart gets injured off the field or runs into legal trouble, language that hasn't been standard in past rookie deals. From the team's perspective, it's about caution. From Stewart's camp, they feel it's unfair. And here's the truth. This drama is not what you want in June. It casts a shadow over a young core that should be locked in and laser-focused heading into training camp. Stay tuned because the next section will spotlight the winners, the players who took full advantage of minicamp and might just be making a serious case for a breakout 2025. But for now, Bengals fans, this is your team, this is your moment, and we've got more to uncover. The Cincinnati Bengals are catching heat from every corner. Media pundits, social media warriors, even former players. And let's be clear, this Shamar Stewart contract saga is turning into a national spectacle. Now sure, the Bengals aren't flawless in all of this. No one's pretending they are. But let's call it what it is. This situation is getting blown way out of proportion, and Cincinnati's reputation is fueling the fire. Critics love to paint the Bengals as the cheap franchise, the team that always fumbles the business side of football. But here's the truth. This isn't about being cheap. It's about protection. The Bengals are simply trying to include language in Stewart's contract that guards the team if off-field issues or non-football injuries arise. That might sound harsh, but it's smart business, especially in today's league. Meanwhile, look at the contrast. Demetrius Knight Jr. hasn't finalized his rookie deal either, but he's already signed his injury waiver and is out there putting in the work. Stewart, he's staying off the field. No waiver, no snaps, no momentum. And what's even more concerning? The attitude. When Stewart speaks to the media, it doesn't come off as someone trying to build a future in this locker room. There's frustration, sure, but there's also a tone that rubs veterans, coaches, and fans the wrong way. And remember, this is a first-round pick who hasn't even played a down yet. You want to be part of this team? Show it. Instead, the Bengals are staring down the possibility, however small, that Stewart might sit out the entire season. It's rare, but the collective bargaining agreement does allow for it. If that happens, he could even re-enter the draft next year. Imagine that. A first-rounder, walking away before even suiting up. It's not just a contract dispute anymore, it's a full-blown distraction, hanging over Cincinnati just as training camp approaches. Let's be honest, if the Bengals suddenly cave and give in at the last minute, it'll send the wrong message. Why push for this contract structure now, only to fold under pressure before week 1? That's not how championship caliber franchises operate. Right now, the Bengals are holding their ground, not just with Shamar Stewart, but with another key name in the headlines, Trey Hendrickson. Here's the situation. Hendrickson wants a bigger paycheck, and it's no secret he's eyeing that $30 to $35 million range. That's elite edge rusher money. Max Crosby, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett territory. But let's be real. As disruptive and consistent as Hendrickson has been, putting him in the same salary tier as Garrett or Watt is a tough sell. Those guys redefine games every snap. Hendrickson is outstanding, but not on their level. Now, where it gets messy is the comparison to Danielle Hunter. Hunter's deal sits at $35 million, and while he's a great player, Hendrickson has arguably been more productive in recent seasons. That's where the Bengals find themselves in a bind. They don't want to overpay, but they also can't afford to alienate one of their top defensive weapons. Still, Hendrickson skipped minicamp. Just like Stewart, that puts him in the loser column of camp takeaways. Not because of talent, but because of timing, presence, and distraction. And that's the bottom line here. These weren't depth guys. These are players Cincinnati is depending on. One is a highly drafted rookie. The other is a veteran leader on defense. Neither was fully present. And when you're chasing a Super Bowl, that matters. Now, on the flip side, it wasn't all negative news. Let's flip the script and talk about the guys who actually showed up and showed out during minicamp. Because even in all this drama, some Bengals are quietly making noise, in the best way possible. Let's flip the energy. Amid all the contract noise and roster tension, there were clear winners in minicamp, and the spotlight starts with Joe Burrow and his top two weapons. For the first time in what feels like forever, Burrow, Shamar Chase, and Tee Higgins are not only present, but fully engaged, healthy, and locked in. And that changes everything. We've seen what these three can do when they're clicking, but what we haven't seen is a full offseason where all of them are in sync, preparing, grinding together, without distractions, rehab, or side stories. Think back. Burrow's dealt with knee surgery, an appendectomy, calf issues, even that wrist injury, and yet he still played at a franchise-saving level. Now he finally has a chance to build rhythm and chemistry without rehab in the way. Higgins, he's been through a contract standoff, franchise tagging frustrations, and trade speculation, but now he's on the field, dialed in. And Chase, even when he showed up last offseason, wasn't participating fully. This time, he's working. They're all working, and that should terrify opposing defenses. Let's be real. No trio in the AFC is more dangerous when they're locked in like this. But it doesn't stop there. On the other side of the ball, a surprise name is emerging. TJ Slaton, the defensive tackle brought in from Green Bay. He's quietly becoming a tone setter on that defensive line. Joe Burrow has already praised him publicly, and longtime Bengals voice Dan Horde has echoed that sentiment, calling Slaton a leader in the making. With Jermaine Pratt gone and Trey Hendrickson's situation in limbo, this defense needs a voice, a presence, a stabilizer, and Slaton may be stepping into that role faster than anyone expected. Of course, the Bengals still have high hopes for rookies like Chris Jenkins Jr. and McKinley Jackson, but let's face it, veteran stability at nose tackle is critical, and after the mess with Sheldon Rankins last year, the Bengals can't afford another letdown in the trenches. So as camp closes, Burrow, Chase, Higgins, and Slaton stand tall as major winners, not just for their talent, but for their timing, leadership, and presence. And in a camp where absence made all the noise, presence is what made the difference. Let's wrap this up with three more clear standouts from Bengals minicamp. Players and units that showed up, stood out, and are setting the tone for what could be a serious bounce-back season in Cincinnati. First up, Dax Hill. After a rough injury stretch that limited him to just 5 games last year, Hill is quietly becoming one of the most important names on this roster. The Bengals made that crystal clear when they picked up his 5th-year option, a major vote of confidence in his future. Hill says he's on track for training camp, and while his exact position isn't locked in yet, the plan seems flexible. The Bengals are experimenting, moving Hill, Cam Taylor-Britt, Josh Newton, and DJ Turner II around the secondary. There's no doubt the defensive backfield has to improve from last year, and Hill's health and versatility are key to making that happen. Then there's the offensive line, a group that's often under scrutiny but seems to be quietly gaining momentum. The tone is being set by veteran Ted Karras, a vocal leader and consistent presence up front. He's been one of the more honest voices in the locker room, not just about Shamar Stewart's situation, but about the shift happening on the line under new O-line coach Scott Peters. Peters brings a unique mindset, blending traditional blocking techniques with martial arts-based handwork and leverage strategies. You can feel the difference already, not just in execution, but in energy. The battle at guard is heating up too. Dylan Fairchild, the rookie from Georgia, looks like a lock on the left side. On the right is shaping up to be a showdown between Cody Ford and Lucas Patrick, though Cordell Volson may still fight his way into the mix. It's a work in progress, but this line is showing signs of cohesion and toughness. something Burrow desperately needs in front of him. And finally, let's say it again, Joe Burrow looks healthy. When your franchise quarterback is locked in, vocal, and full go at minicamp, the entire team feels it. This version of Burrow, paired with a motivated O-line, a healthy Dax Hill, and a fired-up receiver trio, is the kind of core that can drive a deep postseason run. This minicamp was noisy, sure, but underneath the drama, a focused, hungry Bengals roster is forming, one that's ready to remind the league why nobody should take them lightly.